Hi everyone. There have been quite a lot of comments about the audio quality in my previous videos, so I'll just say that all my recording is done by speaking directly into my phone, hence the pop factor. However, because of the support I've received recently on Patreon from some of you guys, and a huge shout out to them, and from those of you who have bought my book from the link in the description, I've actually ordered a microphone to try and improve this. You folks are all awesome, thanks for the support, and let's get on with it. The Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, General Charles Q. Brown Jr., has said that the USAF and the Department of Defense are launching a study to assess the viability of developing a new, quote, 4.5 gen or 5th gen minus, end quote, aircraft that could provide a replacement for the F-16. If this aircraft were to be developed, it would provide the backbone of the USAF's tactical fighter squadrons throughout the 21st century. The surprising thing about this is that the USAF already has a successor to the F-16, the F-35 Lightning. In fact, 1,700 F-35s are currently on order for the USAF, more than enough to replace the current F-16 fleet. So why the sudden announcement? The F-35, though undoubtedly a formidable aircraft and already successful on the export market, has proved controversial throughout its development, procurement, and maintenance cycles. In fact, it has been described as the United States' most expensive war machine ever. While I suspect that is an inaccurate description historically, there is no arguing with the fact that the F-35 program has been, and will continue to be, hugely expensive. While estimates vary wildly, which is never a good thing in tax-funded projects anyway, the current projections are that the entire lifetime outlay on the F-35s could cost the United States $1.5 trillion. And though that vast expense will provide the USAF with what is arguably the finest multi-role aircraft in production today, and I look forward to the arguments in the comments on this, it does beg the question of, is that really needed? Currently, there are no other 5th generation multi-role aircraft like the F-35, and though there is always speculation about Chinese and Russian plans in this regard, it is notable that neither of these countries have fielded large numbers of 5th generation stealth aircraft. In fact, even in the event of a peer-to-peer confrontation within the next 30 years, most of the aircraft fielded would be of the 4.5 to 4.5 plus generation. So perhaps in the F-35 we have an example of perfection being the enemy of good enough. In fact, the USAF has decided already that in terms of its primary air supremacy aircraft, dialing down the requirement is the right call. The F-15 Eagle, whose basic design originates in the 1960s and which first flew in 1972, was scheduled to be heavily supplemented by the F-22 Raptor, with a subsequent design fully replacing the F-15 at some point in the 21st century. Air supremacy has long been a key US priority, and in the Raptor they got the most formidable fighter ever built, the first of the 5th generation combat aircraft. But the costs have proven too much even for the US defense budget. Just over 180 F-22s were built before the decision was made that the F-15s in service were still perfectly good enough for the job for a few decades yet. And now the USAF has gone the next step and ordered a vastly upgraded F-15 variant, the EX. This integrates cutting-edge technology into an upgraded airframe that, when all's said and done, is good enough for the job without the huge expense of fielding a 5th generation aircraft. At the moment, it's entirely likely that the F-15 will survive much longer than the F-22 that was designed to replace it. We also have to consider the current direction that technology is taking. Though the F-35 is probably the most sophisticated aircraft flying, new developments like unmanned aircraft that accompany strike and fighter aircraft, such as the USAF's Skyborg and Australia's Loyal Wingman, will likely provide force multiplication without the need for full stealth capability, which is the hallmark of the 5th gen aircraft. Of course, it could be possible that this public musing is a message to Lockheed, manufacturer of the F-35, that they need to cut costs further, or else. But it should be remembered that the F-16 has, even more than the F-15, been subject to huge upgrading and is still in production fulfilling orders for export customers. Many of those export variants are more advanced than those operated by the USAF, and in fact the F-21, a highly advanced model of the F-16 being offered to India as their next primary fighter aircraft, could theoretically meet the requirement if certain elements from the F-35 were integrated into it. General Brown also specifically mentioned that ideally any new aircraft would follow the same design philosophy of the new ET-7A Red Hawk trainer that is now coming into service with the USAF. This aircraft used digital engineering to radically improve the speed of the design process, with Boeing staging the first flight of the prototype a mere 9 months after winning the contract. With the USAF still looking for an aircraft to replace the A-10 Warthog at some point in the not too distant future, plus new technology in both the design process and in the weapon systems coming online, perhaps the option of developing and fielding a cheaper and less capable multi-role aircraft from scratch isn't so unlikely after all. Thanks for watching, hope you found the video entertaining. If you want to know more, there is a link in the description that goes to an article with citations. Plus, if you have any thoughts, and I'm sure plenty of you do, feel free to put them in the comments. Have a good one, keep safe, and I'll catch you all again soon.